Neighborhood where I stay for more than 1 year now in this Airbnb. One quick thought, reality thing, is about one business in the park over there. I'm not gonna mention the exact location out of respect, but those people, and like I said, I'm over here in this specific neighborhood for 1 year, so assuming that that place was open for 1 year, probably more. I didn't do my research on it. From what I saw in real life, let's say for more than 1 year over there. Now the business is closed, and then I always think, you know, great location. That is an incredibly great location to collect leads. You know, when I speak with normal business owners, just a little chit chat, not growth focused, because traditional business owners, you know, they are not into growth. I even had talks with business owners, and then they would respond, what are we going to do with all those extra clients? Yeah, I see, if that's your mindset or your perception of doing business, then, you know, like I always say, better go take a job. Less risk, same amount of effort. The thing is about this specific business, great location, now simply don't work, but they could collect so many leads. And if you're one of those, you know, business owners owning a restaurant, in this case it is a restaurant, or maybe slash a little bit a drinking place, but the thing is, they missed out a huge opportunity. And a lot of people, what I also noticed, they think when you collect data in a specific business model, then it's only applicable for that specific audience, and there's always segmentation, create incentives, you know, to share other kind of content. But I always feel a little bit for those people, because they simply missed out, or they're so focused on getting the rent together for that specific month, or, you know, and that's the problem when you, and most people simply depend on foot traffic. Okay, once in a while they throw in a boost my post thing on Facebook, which is obviously the money maker for Facebook, and of course for the marketing companies who are, you know, not in the growth focused mode, but in general striking up the fees from small companies who don't have a clue. When it's about not having a clue, when I had my normal offline businesses, I also totally didn't have a clue, and I also paid people, marketing companies, a monthly thing. I didn't even know where it was going. I never asked for any kind of stats. Yeah, but Dylan, you were an idiot. Totally true. Not gonna deny that. But from what I see, a lot of older people, see, at that time I was in my 20s, I was totally an idiot regarding online stuff. It also wasn't so, actually pretty non-existent. Yeah, of course there was the websites and that kind of stuff, but the way things are now, you know, like all those social networks, it's insane. And I see from, let's say, people from my own age now, I'm 47, that they still act like me when I was in my 20s, and that is a waste of opportunity. But not only this, also a lot of young people, they actually grew up with all the social media and this hyper modern thing in their hands called an Android or an Apple phone, still don't see it or don't want to see it. Or perhaps, and I think also the majority of people who never left the country, they really, you know, in the traditional thinking. When I see people that are local business, I think I see lead collection points. That's the only thing. I don't look, it's nice to have the good products, but in general, the majority of people sell just the same products, have the same grumpy employee, and or sitting themselves for days at end in their business, and that's a waste of time and waste of opportunity. but that's simply because I see things different. But when I see a business like that on a very great location over there in the park, every day there were a lot of people, so a lot of opportunity missed regarding the lead collection. What I always say, just start a business, or if you would be in the, you know, in that kind of mindset of starting an offline business or a service business, I don't know what, you want to take an office and lick ass. The thing is, then at least do yourself a favor and collect leads, even if you don't know what to do with it. Just build audiences. Very simple. If most people don't want to put in the work, just put a pixel and tracking codes on your website. The majority of people should have websites. If you're not, then yeah, I don't know what you're doing. The thing is, build social media audience, and don't turn your social media content in some kind of brochure. I also know a lot of traditional people who actually decide to get into social media that just post today 10% off. I don't know what, they show all kind of products with prices like a brochure. You know, we all know those people who go door to door and then drop the brochure in the mailbox, and that is not nurturing your audience, but you know, it's such a missed opportunity. And this is another thing, and then I want to start training. The thing is, I'm giving away, and so I make 3 pictures and 1 video of a business. I'm not asking for any money. I'm just have a little talk with those people and drink a beer. And the thing is, it's for free. They get an extra 1,000 views per month, and still. And that is another thing. When things are for free, people get suspicious because, and most people would charge for this. How can you do this? Well, simply I do have tons and tons of audiences. Not only this, I also have on my Google, I use my Google Maps for this, and I got at the moment over 5 million plus viewers. One person that I started with has at the moment over 100,000 views extra on his business for the cost of 1 beer. Actually, at that place I drank, I think, 5 beers, but that's it. I don't ask anything in return. Really, Dylan? Yeah, really. Because my attention is not over there. I just serve a little bit value. If the people would be into the growth part, they would get back. You know, can we do some more? Can we start? Can you tell me more about lead collection, lead nurturing, segmenting of the audiences? Can we do this? Then I would say, maybe, let's see. I'm not in a hurry. But now I'm in a hurry to actually start training. The weather is great again. When I looked out of the window this morning, I thought, it always looks worse than it is. Anyway, that's what I always think. Especially this morning, I thought, uh-oh. I have many of those days, and I think, yeah, what do? Get up at 5:15. Actually, today a little bit earlier. Start planning. Not visualizing and meditating and spitting out affirmations. No, we do stuff. And now we clean up the head every single day. Calisthenics. Later, because it's Saturday, and I'm considering to take it a little bit more easy on Sunday, because Sunday is usually my mixed calisthenics plus the rounds. But now I'm doing the calisthenics. I'm gonna walk between multiple calisthenic spots, and probably this evening I'm gonna treat myself on a 10-kilometer run through the city. I think that's nice, you know. And then tomorrow, yeah, I'm gonna say it, but probably tomorrow I'm gonna do calisthenics, maybe 5-kilometer run, you know, just to be gentle at myself. I don't know. But yeah, if you run a normal offline business, do me a favor and start building audiences. Even if you don't know what to do with it, just start collecting those leads, and after 1 year you burn down the place. Because in the beginning everything sounds nice and flashy. You can tell your friends you run a business. That's all fun until it's not fun anymore. And what I always say, self-employment business models, or you have to dress up, or you have to be careful with your reputation, because otherwise nobody will talk with you. You somebody else's puppet, and you don't want that. I don't want that for you, because I don't have to act or pretend or whatever. And as you can probably see in my vlogs, everything is raw, real, unedited. Especially now when it's about growth and getting closer to the so-called reality thing. I always talk about reality. I live as very, very close to that point of reality. You know, the guy upstairs, I'm not religious, but I do believe that the universe took away everything multiple times in the past for a reason, so I can hyper focus on everything that's necessary to make people aware somehow, somewhat, of that nice little tiny device that they have every day in their hand is simply the key to freedom. It is. I'm doing everything from the phone, and I've made my first sale when I was 11, knocked on the door, nervous as hell, introvert, hey, let's use one of those normal people labels. Introvert, no, I was inexperienced. So I always like to cut the labels as well. You know, my stuff is not for the weak-hearted or people who are into the mental diseases inflicted people. And if you are, let's cure you. Let's cure some people. I think last week I talked with somebody. He all of a sudden had OCDC or ACDC because he cleaned his room for once. Okay, I said okay. And now? So now your room is clean, so you can move on. So I don't know. I also said, why do you label it like this? You just want to keep the things clean. It's more than that's not more than normal. And when I talk like this, and I say this in all vlogs, I have experience with people who have real things, real all over the top stuff, because, you know, I never look down on anybody. I talk with tons and tons of people, respectful people, people who deal with real problems, totally out of the ordinary, and good movie material, which I cannot discuss, at least the majority of stuff not, but you know, so, but those people come to me and ask for possible solutions. But anyway, when you run this traditional business model, do me a favor, at least try to build an audience around it. And again, if you don't know what to do with the audience, it's simply a business asset. And of course, I'm not going too deep into it now, but when I was walking to this calisthenics spot, I was thinking about the business. And at the moment I do see multiple, actually it's all year round, people go and the places of business turn into empty holes. Somehow I always feel like, yeah, shit. And I always look through the window, and then I think, yes, people, you could have collected leads, nurture them, and even if you wouldn't understand, you know how to create an account. But it's of course easier said than done, because, you know, they have to, let's say, quote-unquote, train their employees. And when it's about training their employees, and I'm gonna keep it short, once I talked with a business owner who owns a chain here in Bulgaria. He also came with this lousy, I had a talk with him, and he came up with this lousy 10% offer kind of stuff. So I said, first of all, it is already, you know, you're not even, I don't know, joining anything. It's not even sitting on the bench. And then he said, yeah, because of my employees, so he blamed it on his employees, they're not motivated. Well, he wasn't, when it's about motivation, give them simply, you know, a piece of the cake. Yeah, Very simple. Everything what is an extra sale is on top of what you would normally earn, and you would increase the value of your employees, right? And you would then make them more enthusiastic. But anyway, we're not getting into this. I want to clear my head a little bit, because I feel at the moment a little bit overwhelmed, truly. Whew. Drinking coffee. Maybe I'm gonna go for a longer walk over there, the West Park. I'm going into the West Park. Let's see if some people are training over there. If not, maybe I will just turn on the camera and we just walk through the daily regime. There's another person coming, so let's cut this very quick live stream. And do me a favor, if you run an offline business in any kind of way, just start building the audiences. And if you don't know what to do with them, just contact me after you get maybe 1,000, even a few hundred on the list, or whatever you build, an account, social media account. Just send me a message if you want. And no, I'm not like those sleazeball marketing companies. Pay me $1,500 up front and then we'll see. And then you have to put in the money for ridiculous Facebook advertisements. No. No results, no payments. Very simple. If I don't perform, and I always create win-win situation, and everything is fully customized, because every single business is for me just as unique as a living human being. Anyway.